Good morning, good morning, good morning. When I was in high school, I lived with my grandparents, and every day when I'd get out of my room, my grandmother would be sitting at the kitchen table, and that's what she'd say. She'd go, "Good morning, good morning, good morning." So I still like to keep that tradition alive. So, good morning, church. This is another message. I want to basically focus on a chunk of scripture. Sometimes when I'm at a loss of words, I like praying scripture because I just think it's powerful. And when my words fall short, I believe that God's words rise up to meet the occasion. I would like, if you could, Deuteronomy chapter 30. Deuteronomy chapter 30, and I'm just going to be reading the first 10 verses and kind of picking out some important parts afterwards. But it says this: "And when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you call them to mind among all the nations where the Lord your God has driven you, and return to the Lord your God, you and your children, and obey his voice in all that I command you today, with all your heart and with all your soul. Then the Lord your God will restore your fortunes and have mercy on you, and he will gather you again from all the peoples where the Lord your God has scattered you. If your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of heaven, from there the Lord your God will gather you, and from there he will take you. And the Lord your God will bring you into the land that your fathers possessed, that you may possess it, and he will make you more prosperous and numerous than your fathers. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your offspring, so that you will love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live. And the Lord your God will put all these curses on your foes and enemies who persecuted you. And you shall again obey the voice of the Lord and keep all his commandments that I commanded you today. The Lord your God will make you abundantly prosperous in all the work of your hand, in the fruit of your womb, and in the fruit of your cattle, in the fruit of your ground. For the Lord will again take delight in prospering you, as he took delight in your fathers. When you obey the voice of the Lord your God to keep his commandments and his statutes that are written in the book of the law, when you turn your heart, when you turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul." I want to just say that this part of scripture, Deuteronomy, that was written right before they entered into the promised land. It's a set of, like, once again, reminders of what is supposed to take place as they're going into the promised land and taking ownership of it. And several things, you see that there's a blessing and then there's a curse put before the people, encouraging us, let's choose the blessing, saying that we should turn to God with all of our heart and with all of our soul. I love this part where you see that God's going to gather his people from, even if they're scattered. And I love this illustration, this invitation to come close to God's heart. And he's always constantly pursuing us and trying to bring us to himself. I love the fact that there's this promise of this blessing. It says that he wants us to be restored, and he wants us to enjoy the fruit and the prosperity that comes with serving God. And I just want to say that I believe that there's going to be redemption and restoration in the middle of this crisis, and there will be fruit. It might look slightly different from what we're used to, but God will reap a harvest. And that's something that is promised. Is the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So I know that God is gathering a harvest at this time. And so let's just turn our hearts over to God. Let us love God, the Lord our God, with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul, with all of our strength. And let's look for his hand in the middle of this. So I want to encourage you guys with that. Be blessed. Thanks.